Alright guys, Supreme Kami here, and today we are gonna try out if the new Gundam shield can actually take down the Rafflesia. So I was only playing in terms of using the shield for to beat the Rafflesia, because in terms of the Rafflesia itself just have an enormous amount of beam resistance, so we cannot. So that was definitely a joke. So I was thinking about doing that, but at the end of the day, like before recording, I was like, wait a minute, we can't actually do it, because during the second phase in terms of Rafflesia, you can't even pop the bubble like the one in the middle. So I was like, whoops, never mind, let me scrap that idea. But in terms of what we are trying out, I have myself 7, so I'm just gonna call these welfare slash standard unit. So essentially what we have ARM magazine. So in this video, we're gonna try out which unit has the best ARM magazine type EX skill, and that is what we are working with. And in terms of all the EX skill, they are all gonna be physical. So we have the dual soul shroud, we got the ARM. This one is, in my opinion, I like this one the most because of how versatile this one is. So we'll see how this one goes. I'm just gonna bet this one is gonna perform very well, so that's what my take is. We have the Rebound. Wow, so this one we are looking at ARM again. So this one is not a bad spread. So I think previously I actually tested out the torso because it does look pretty cool. Yeah, this one is actually pretty nice because in terms of that one, I was trying to compare if the X1 torso is like, is it like the king of the magazine. So that's why I used the Rebound Wow's torso here. Up next, we have the N3. So this one's going to be a little bit of a sneak peek to see how this one actually performs, because in terms of this week, we do actually have it as a newly altered, not really newly alteration, but more or less like a rerun. So that's why this is more or less going to be your sneak peek. Up next, we have the Tyrion. So this one, I'm pretty sure it's going to perform fairly well. So, and then up next, we have the Gerber Tetra here. So this one, in terms of army skill, does look pretty funny. Even after alteration, we are only looking at C power, so I don't know, because like this one and then the N3 actually locks it to C power. So that is a little bit of a surprise. There's actually a few in here that are actually C power after alteration. So I'm just like, what happened? Oh, like this one, we got the launcher strike. So this one only maxes out as C power as well, so I don't know how these one will perform, honestly. So now updates, we also do have the Gundam Perfect Strike Freedom, and this one is also looking at C power. So we do have 7 unit, and then in terms of these 7, I'm placing my bet on Dual Soul Shroud just because of how strong it is. You guys can let me know before even watching ahead, which one do you guys think is gonna win in terms of performance wise. In terms of the build, I do have the skeleton here, so I have not put on a skin. This is the build. So in terms of this build, we are looking at 203,000 shot attacks, so that's a base right there. In terms of the portrait, these are going to be the following. Something that is not going to be able to activate is namely going to be this one here. Because in terms of all these EXQ, there's not any built-in buffs, so obviously we cannot gain anything from that. So that's probably going to be a dud. Something else that is not going to activate is let's see, this one here. So this one I'll probably swap it to this one. Why not? Because this one is a double 25%, so we'll switch to that. Some other one that is not going to be able to activate is going to be the whole Cosmo shield, because I don't have any buffs. And last but not least, we do have the back or the second portrait for the Ground Maker, because I don't have any back EX skill. So I am going to be losing out on a little bit of some boosting, but I think with the remaining portrait and with this right here, the damage buff, the damage tree, I think we can definitely perform fairly well. So let me do hop in, because I feel like this video is going to be extremely long in terms of testing out. So without any further ado, let's actually hop in with the first contester, Dual Assault Shroud. Alright, so we are in with the Dual Assault Shroud first. So in terms of 2 pointers that I do want to kind of fill you guys in is in terms of these magazine type EXQ, what we do want to pay attention to is kind of how fast they can actually shoot in terms of per time in reloads. And then things to also pay attention to is how good is their tracking. I think those are definitely going to be some criteria that you guys should kind of pay attention to as well. So, and that is it. So we are almost down to like the first bar, and I think that is it. Because in terms of the Dual Assault Strong Army XQ, there are only 7 magazines. So keep that in mind. It's only 7 magazine. In terms of like how viable, like how like where this one is good at, it's gonna be specifically for your arena, because in terms of, let's say there's 3 enemy per wave, right? So what this arm EXQ can do, you can actually toggle, just keep toggling on like switching enemy. If you keep doing that while clicking on that EXQ, you can actually get the bullet or the whatever round you're looking at. You can actually split them into 3, so you can potentially hit 3 enemy per one EXQ round. So in terms of where it's specialized in, I think it's definitely going to be for arena or just any multi-mission with like multiple enemy, because it doesn't take that much damage to take out one specific enemy. And then if you are able to split up your bullets like that, that is a very beneficial thing. But in terms of looking at this one specifically, the Rafflesia, only 1 enemy, so we may not see like its full potential in a way. But I think overall it did fairly well. So up next, we are going to be taking a look at the Rebound and see how that one can do. Okay, so up next, we got the Rebound. So let's see what this one can do. So I believe this one just used one round like that. So this one, oh yeah, this one is doing a good chunk. Oh yeah, look at that tracking. So we already missed one, and look at that. Oh yeah. So obviously the tracking for this one, it's just horrendous. So we basically missed out on 2 attacks already, and it hit quite slow. It definitely hit quite slow. And then in terms of the actual damage, it's not even that impressive since we did miss 2 bullets. So I'm just gonna count this one as an L, because in terms of accuracy, this one doesn't have it. It hits quite slow, and it does not have the best tracking. So I'm definitely gonna call this one a no. So yeah, we only did that much, so that is pretty much how unfortunate this EXQ is. So up next, we are gonna move over to the N3 custom. N3 custom, so let's see what you can do. So obviously you're gonna activate that limit break for that extra damage going on right there. Okay, this one. Okay, so that's a great track record. You guys saw that curve, right? So that is actually fairly well. Obviously a little bit better than the Rebound well, but in terms of the damage output, this one unfortunately does fall below average, just because of the fact that this one is C powered. So obviously going to be below average, so I'm not surprised with there. So we did went all the way up to the A, so that's pretty much all it can do. So up next, we are going to be taking a look at the Tyrion. So we got Tyrion on the spot. So let's see. I think I do have a little bit of a high hopes for this one. I don't know why. Okay, are we doing good? No, this one is hitting fast. Oh, look at those tracking. You guys see? Oh my gosh! What is this damage? Y'all see this? You guys see this? This is alright. This is what I call good right here. Like, you guys saw that tracking, right? A lot more better than the Rebound can do. So twice as, I think it's twice the damage, right? No, 1.5, 1.5 more. So yeah, this one is looking pretty good. No complaints on this one. So moving on to, what's the next one? We got the Gerber Tetra. Alright, so now we have the Gerber Tetra. So I never actually used this EXQ after alteration, so okay. Tracking wise, I think it looks fine. It's not bad. It does hit pretty fast. I would say that for sure. Yeah, it's not bad. Damage wise, we still at it. I'll definitely say it is a little bit slow for my taste. It definitely is slightly slower than it should be. So if this, in terms of like per time it clicks back per se, it moves it like a tad faster, I think it will definitely make this EXQ a little bit better, because this one does feel like a mini version of the Dual So Strong arm, while the Dual So Strong arm just hits so much faster. I'm just gonna let it accumulate like that. Okay, there you go. Yeah, so I'll definitely like the firing rate to be a tad faster, and then that'll be all for the better. But in terms of the damage output, being at C power still outperforms, which one was it? The Rebound. So I don't know what to tell you guys. Okay, so now we have the Launcher Strike Gundam. So gonna be obviously testing a few things. So 7 rounds only. Oh, this one hit. Look at that tracking. You guys saw that damage going up like that? That's pretty good. Hit rate is pretty much I want to say it's nearly the same as, let's say, the Dual Assault Strong Arm. I think it's around there. I think, yeah, definitely around there. But damage output, this one only being a C power and only 7 magazine, definitely not making the cut. So unfortunate. So we only finished up around the 8, like just a little bit past that. So fairly unfortunate. So I do expect the same result from, let's say, the perfect strike freedom, I think. So we'll definitely try that one last now and see how it goes. Okay, so the final runner-up, we have the perfect strike freedom Gundam. So activate all these real quick. So, oh wow, look at how fast it hit. This one feels really smooth. Like, where's my tracking at? Hello? My tracking, we literally missed one single round. Oh my gosh. I mean, like, honestly, I'm just gonna put this in a video just because of the fact that this shows you how bad this is. If you're gonna, like, if you have a moving target and it doesn't track that good, like, what would you still use it? Obviously not, right? Because, like, we have literally some other EX skill that can track the same, like, kind of distance. It will land. Like, literally auto shot miss. So I don't know. Like, you guys can definitely let me know. Do you guys still consider this one good? I was really anticipating this one to do roughly about the same damage as Launcher Strike, but obviously not. So that was definitely quite a disappointment in my opinion. Alright guys, so I went back to take a look at the footage and then we have the results. So in terms of, let's say, who is, like, definitively the best out of this grouping, so we have the Tyrion Tausi and then Dual Assault Strong Arm EXQ. The reason being why they're the same, in terms of Dual Assault Strong, you guys can see that in the video, I actually took a little bit damage, so that's why it hence one of the portrait not being able to activate. So the one that is that needs an HP restriction is going to be the new Gundam, the newest new Gundam. So this one I have to be 90% health or more. So I think at some point I got dinged and then I was like, whoops, there goes the damage. So in terms of the dual Gundam and then Tyrion Tausi, they're pretty much neck and neck, so I would definitely give it to them. So if you talk about solo content, I would definitely say the Tyrion Tausi is probably your better option. But if you talk about, let's say, more than one enemy, you have like a group of enemy, definitely do go for the dual assault shroud, just because I feel like that one should be a little bit of a better option. And then up next we have the Gerber Tetra. So that one actually outperforms any of the grouping that has the C power, just because this one have 11 magazine. So that's why I feel like at that respect it did just slightly better. And then up third we have the Rebound. So that one actually did not do as bad as I thought, despite the fact that we actually missed 2 rounds. This one is pretty much like, in terms of the projectile, it's pretty much the same as the Tyrion Tausi, but the fact that it has lack of tracking, like I missed twice. Like they're not anything that's far, but for whatever reason they decided not to put as much tracking, so hence that is why it's a little bit worse in terms of damage. And then in terms of your 4th place, we actually do have the N3, Launcher Strike, and then Perfect Strike Freedom. I think they are pretty much on the same boat. They're good. I'll definitely say all 3 of them does have some pretty nice tracking. As you guys can see that from the N3, it's good. I thought it was gonna miss, but nope, it actually went up and hit the tail or the nose of the Rafflesia, so that's actually quite nice. But it's just their damage is not nearly in numbers what I needed to be. So if you do some buffing, for example, double buff and then use them, they will definitely perform really well. But in a normal situation where you're not using any buffing, it's not going to shine as well. But with that being said, that is going to be the experiment that I want to show off in this video. I think next time I'll actually go ahead, like literally go ahead and try out the new Gundams, that shoe magazine. Just the fact that we have the Rafflesia, so I can't safely test it out. So but with that being said, that's gonna be pretty much it. And then hopefully you guys do enjoy these testing, and then maybe eventually you guys are able to get your hands into this EX2. You can definitely go from what you guys saw and then just pick from them. So I'll be catching you guys off on the next one.